Hi guys, how you doing? And welcome back to another video. Today's slightly different. We're doing a podcast style talk with another collector. So Crystal messaged me yesterday on Instagram, said, have you got a sec today to chat about these topics? I said, yeah, sure, but should we try and get something recorded? Because I'm sure we're going to talk about, some really interesting points that other people want to hear. So I just wanted to introduce the video because the chat just sort of starts instantly and ends quite suddenly as well, because I thought there was a time limit on recording. I had very little time to get something together. So the audio's come through really well, but the video quality is kind of low. So it's a perfect video to put on in the background and just listen to as a podcast. Next time we do something like this, I'll get a much better setup and have more time to prepare. So we get more of a video feed coming through, and I'll set up a camera. But I just wanted to introduce it just so it just didn't start and you had no idea what was going on. So we cover sort of base set first edition, Shadowless, Unlimited, new investors in the hobby, new collectors, what they seem to think and what they seem to be buying at the moment, where the hobby's going, sort of vintage, modern, all those sorts of things. We cover so many topics. So yeah, put it on in the background, sit back and enjoy. If there's anything you disagree with or agree with in the comments, let us know. Maybe we could expand on, some of these points further in a different video if you think that's something you want to hear. And if you want to have these talks, just let me know. Send me a message on Instagram. I had loads of fun doing this. It's really nice to speak to someone else and not just be sort of sat on my own talking to a camera. You get different perspectives, different points, and different things to think about and talk about. So it's really, really fun. Hope you enjoy it. And as always, don't forget to subscribe and like. So I'll start the talk now. Enjoy.
Just mainly wanted to talk about like all of the investors just coming onto the into the hobby and just what they think, are good things to be investing in, really.
So you were watching a few new people on YouTube, weren't you? That's what you said.
Yeah, just YouTube and Instagram, really. I mean, mainly looking at some of Gary V's stuff.
Yeah, I actually watched him the other. It might have been today or yesterday. Basically, I was just on E4 looking at new threads, and someone had mentioned it, and they actually said like, "Oh, have you got any of these videos that you're talking about?" Because people kept saying that he keeps mentioning it in his videos. And they posted a few of them, and he speaks to like loads of different people, like on on Zoom calls and stuff. And the guy he starts with, he's obviously just got into collecting graded Pokemon cards. And every time he starts the video, he goes, "Oh, so what have you bought? What are you looking at now?" And he was showing off like some first edition base set PSA 9s that he just bought and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think he definitely has an impact. Like, there's definitely people coming into it from there, 100%. How many people? I mean, we don't know, but there's definitely people coming from there, 100%. He's got a massive audience.
Yeah, I was actually going over some of his photos and looking at some of the comments, and I've noticed quite a few big investors have taken some sort of influence from this, because I've noticed there's one collector called, I think it's Jeremy Padawer. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I've just been looking at his Instagram.
Yeah.
And I see him comment on a lot of Gary V stuff, but he started doing his own sort of live videos now and talks about what to invest in and what to collect. And I've just noticed through going over some of Gary V's comments that there are quite a lot of investors.
Is that Pokemon focused or?
He does a bit of sports. I think he's a collector in general. Okay. So he does a bit of sports. But I've noticed he seems to be very into Pokemon at the moment. Yeah. He's recently bought a lot of trainer deck cards. So he's investing in trainer deck cards. 1995.
Like the theme decks.
Yes, like the demo theme decks, the trainer A and trainer B.
Yeah.
But he's also he's also collecting a lot of the 1995 Top Sun cards, which came in the little like chewing gum bubble gum packs.
Oh, I
Um,
don't. I don't have. I don't even know what they look like. I don't think.
I've not massively looked into them. I've seen quite a
Hold
few.
on.
I've seen a couple of YouTubers that
Let me
have.
have a quick look. Top Sun. Top Sun. Are they graded?
His ones are graded, yes. He's collecting them in tens, but I know TCA and a couple of other YouTubers, including Leonhardt, have bought they're like little bubblegum chewing gum packs. You get bubblegum and two
Oh, so
cards
they've
in
still
there.
got them sealed. Like
Yes.
they've got them. I know. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, I think I recognise these now. There's a Charizard one as well, isn't there? Hold on, it's just loading. Like that one.
Yep, that's the ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just found it interesting to sort of listen to what he thought
want-
was good to be investing in and how much he thinks that it's likely to rise. And just
What he
just
was
listening-
commenting on Pokemon prices and when they.
He's just I think he's just invested in a first edition Red Cheek Shuttless like Pichu.
Oh yeah.
He was just talking about how much he thinks the hobby,
Where
is
it's
going
gonna
to
go.
rise in value.
Has he got a
and
big
it
following?
I'm on his page actually. He's got 7,191 followers, which doesn't sound much to start with, but when you look at a little bit about him,
I mean,
he
all
does a
it
lot of
takes.
stuff.
Yeah, all it takes is 10 of them to have a lot of money, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's verified on Instagram.
Okay.
The little bit of the about section says collectibles expert, toy maker, and then it's got a list of things under that like Fortnite, Roblox, Halo, Micro Machines. And I did read a bit about him on Wiki that he had something to do with Nickelodeon.
Oh right.
But yeah, no, he seems to collect a bit of everything. There's a bit of sports, a bit of WWE.
So obviously, I think a lot of people agree that like pretty much most of the card markets have blown up, haven't they? In terms of like prices, whether it's Pokemon or sports or anything. I think if there's a lot of new people coming in, as there definitely is, and there definitely would be through obviously like Gary V, and the people he's speaking to on his videos, and they're talking about it at the start of the video, every day. The thing is, when people come back into the hobby, where do they go? They go straight to base set. Like everyone. That's when I came back and I dabbled in it in 2016 for a bit. Like I went straight to base set. Like I bought a couple of base set packs and I bought like a Shadowless Charizard that was graded because that's the first set. So it's always going to be popular, but it's always popular with people who are new into it because they know it. Like not everyone knows Neo, not everyone knows E-Series. So why would they all of a sudden just chuck a load of money at it when they don't really have any knowledge? Whereas everyone knows base set. So I don't know if that's to do, with because at the moment I feel like base set is almost trending.
There was a lot of talk about base set, and that it did get me thinking because there was a lot of discussion about sort of the trio in first edition, and I was just thinking back to a year ago when you could buy a PSA 10 first edition Squirtle for about £120, and I'm seeing PSA 10 first edition Charmanders now going for a couple of thousand, and just sort of that moment of realization and thinking I should have just bought them. First ever set in a 10 first edition. It's already been graded. You're guaranteed that grade. Around £100. Why were we all sleeping on it? And I think
everyone. I think some people knew that the commons and uncommons were undervalued, and then a lot of other people just didn't care because they weren't holos.
I think.
Do you know what I mean?
I think with me it was more. I saw a couple readily available on the market.
Yeah, and you just think, I'll get them one day.
And now I'm struggling to find PSA 7, 8s, first editions for some of the trio, and there was Jeremy was talking about, you know, Shadowless being massively underrated, and I've always looked at just Shadowless on its own, not first edition, as just being a bit of a, well, it's not got the stamp, so I'm not as interested.
Yeah.
And that's just me, how I feel.
Yeah.
Even I'm starting to look at some of the Shadowless cards now. I'm thinking, well, if a PSA 10 first edition Charmander is a couple of thousand, if you can buy just 10 Shadowless, not first edition, for half the price or less, if not, why not?
It's the next best thing, isn't it? So
It is.
If you're not going for first edition, then you're looking at Shadowless, and if you can't get Shadowless, obviously you'd go unlimited. You know, if you could get Shadowless for a reasonable price in however much you want to spend, well, you know, you'd try and probably get Shadowless over unlimited. But I know there are people that just they're not that fussed on it. Like you said, for ages you don't care for it.
I know, you know, there are people that love Shadowless. Some people prefer it over first edition.
Yeah,
I have always been. I like to have the stamp on there. You know,
yeah.
A lot of people say that the stamp takes away from the card.
Yeah.
I've heard that a lot of times, but you know, I noticed there was a PSA 9 Shadowless Charmander on eBay today for £120. But if you look at the same in first edition, you know,
sorry, was it Shadowless? Did you say
Shadowless? Yes, just Shadowless, not first edition. At 9 for £120.
Yeah.
If you look at the first edition alternative, they're around sort of £700, and that's, you know, 1/6, 1/7 of the price for
the next best.
It's the next best thing.
Yeah. And then obviously Unlimited has that much bigger print run in comparison. Obviously, you've got first edition, you've got Shadowless. They're obviously going to be, supply wise, they're a lot less, aren't they?
But it's just amazing to see how much was on the market, and now, you know, like I say, even sevens, you know, 7 and 8s in first edition are just.
But that's the thing. If people, and if there's a sudden surge in a load of new people, they're going straight to base, and all those cards are just gonna sell. Like, as you can tell, there's hardly any there. Like,
I was trying to have a look at some just Shadowless Pikachus. Just even not in first edition, even just red cheeks Shadowless Pikachus. They're just hard to find in a decent grade now. You know, you can pick up one in a 7 or an 8, but
if you're looking for a 9
looking
or a 10,
for 9s and a 10,
you're waiting for someone to list one, and I'm sure others are probably waiting as well.
And you know, with how much money some of these top investors have, they could easily come onto the market and just buy out.
They just spend whatever they want. They pay as much as they want to get the card, I guess. I'm curious to see because like me, when I came back in, you start off at base set. You start off at what you know. You collect some of that, and then you start learning and dabbling in the sets that you might not have had when you were younger. So I started buying some gym stuff. Then I started buying some Neo cards, like anything WotC, but just cards and sets that they aren't nostalgic to me. Like, you know, I never grew up with them, but it's kind of like a new set. Like, you're experiencing a new set, but it's also vintage at the same time. So I'm wondering if all these new people, are they just going to stick to base set for ages, or are they even going to stay in the hobby? You know, are they coming in
from what I've seen through comments and just general investigating myself, as a lot of these investors that are coming onto the market, from what I have seen personally, are all going for first edition base. It's base. It's base. I'm not saying that, you know, other investors aren't going for other things, but from what I have seen, the majority are going for base, Shadowless, even Japanese base set Charizards, which I do think is massively undervalued at the minute.
See, I've never been a fan of Japanese cards.
Nor have I. I'll be honest.
They're in English, if you can get an English version of it, if that makes sense.
Only because, like a lot of people say, I grew up with the English, so I'd rather own an English base set Charizard over Japanese. That's nothing against, you know, the Japanese, but Yeah, I haven't seen too many investors so far that are talking about what they've invested in, talking about anything other than.
Oh yeah, no, I don't expect them. I don't expect that anytime soon. I'm just wondering if any of them stick around and they're not just in it for like a
If
few
it's
months,
right.
and they actually get into the hobby rather than
Mm.
probably just buying some cards and sitting on them and sort of disappearing. If they create an Instagram account or anything, or get involved with the community,
Yeah.
then maybe 6 months, a year from now, will we see the other sets get an increase
Yeah.
in I don't know, a lot of these, I guess, investors, I mean, they're only there to make money. So maybe they will just almost kind of flip it in a way and then just
Right.
they
Yeah.
exit. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say another thing that I've noticed with a lot of investors coming onto the market are some of the sort of hype that's coming around it. I've noticed a couple of comments saying I've bought this Charizard for. There was one that was, I bought this Charizard for £900. It was a base set 9 unlimited, and I sold it a couple of weeks ago for 4,000 because someone was desperate. Now I can't see that being true. You can go on eBay now, and they're available.
I mean,
And
that's PSA 10 price, right?
yeah, I had a look at the investors page, and he had just bought 2 PSA 9s that day.
So
Put the post up that day, and it does go to show that I think
people
with
trying
the
to
amount
manipulate.
of people, bearing in mind some of the posts, for example, that Gary V's putting up have tens of thousands of comments.
Oh, they will, yeah.
It's just mad to think that, and there were quite a few people as well saying, what are the best cards to buy? I have the money, I'll buy them now.
Yeah.
And it does make you wonder how many people just need to
Don't
be told,
even know what
buy
they're
this.
buying. Yeah.
Just buy this. It's worth it. Okay, I'll go and buy that.
Yeah. I know
it's
what
almost
you mean.
interesting looking at the sort of psychology behind it, I find. I do quite find it quite interesting, to be honest.
I mean, that is the problem, and almost what happens if there's a slight decline.
Yeah.
How will those sort of people react in that situation when they realise, oh, I paid £1,000 and it's only worth, 800 now? When they're expecting to, double their money in a month, because that's what they've seen people do on these, on these videos or Instagram posts.
I think the ones that are going to be hit the hardest are the new collectors that don't have so much money. A lot of these big investors have a lot of money in the nicest possible way.
They can just wait it out. I think
that's it. I mean, some of the new people that are coming on might find that they put the money into certain things that they've been told are good, and then have to sell up. Because
you don't know their situation, do you? They could. Some of these people could have borrowed money, and I know a lot of people have spoken about this before, but some people have said that people are borrowing money to invest, which is obviously
I've even seen comments telling people that they should be taking out credit cards to buy some of these cards, and you just look at some of these comments and think, no, just if you haven't got the money, you shouldn't be buying.
It's those ones that are worrying, because if it does have a slight decline, it's those people who are gonna get hit the hardest, because they can't just wait for it to come back, or they're paying off credit, right? So
that's it. And
it will be interesting to see what happens, I think, the rest of this year, because obviously this year has been
I think
crazy.
For me, one thing that I would like to know going on in the future is how many collectors will stay in the community and how many would go. And we picked up on this as well, but from the point of view of it can almost feel like, especially on Instagram, like you are running a job full time, and a lot of people can feel quite under pressured with followers and just posting all the time, and just even from a money point of view,
just replying to messages as well.
I think for me, I'd love to know that if the prices continue to rise, obviously with the prices continuing to rise, sorry, there is also going to be more pressure to keep posting decent things, because you have some accounts that will only post PSA 10 first edition, PSA Pop 2, Pop 1. I would like to know, going on in the future, if the prices continue to rise and people can't afford to do it, how it's going to change.
You mean in terms of what people are posting?
Yeah, I just posting, and I'm curious to see if, you know, a lot of collectors will back out, because it will get to the point where some certain cards are only going to be for those with a lot of money.
Yeah. I guess if in that case we see a lot of, you know, lower end as in now cards.
Yeah, I've noticed quite a few people on my Instagram lately are actually resorting to buying PSA 6s and 7 first editions. Bearing in mind last year they were buying 9s and 10s. That's quite a drop from...
To be honest with you, I assume these aren't just base set, or is it just base set?
No. So base set, Fossil, Jungle, Neo, sort of mostly up to sort of the end of Neo, sort of.
Yeah.
Even Skyridge and Aquapolis, to be honest.
So just first edition.
Sort of pre-EX, yeah.
I think I'm really torn, because I was about to say that I think if you look at base set first edition and how well that's doing, you could buy, you know, 7s, 8s, 6s, and it would still probably be a good investment, right?
But even through looking on eBay today, you can buy quite a few PSA 9 first edition base sets for cheap. You know, there are a couple on there now for £37. First edition PSA 9 from base set.
What cards were they?
Have you looked on eBay UK recently? You can get Sandshrew. There's quite a few. Ponytail. Yeah, there's but I mean, you know, you're looking at first edition PSA 9.
They're still
£37. I mean, would you rather? I mean, collect what you like, but would you, from an investment point of view, would you rather pay £37 for one of those, or would you rather buy a PSA 6 Fossil Raichu for double the amount?
Oh, I don't know.
Mean, it's mad. It's mad to think that you can buy a 9 for that price.
Yeah, I know. I
mean, in comparison to something, I mean, I know Charmander being one of the trios. It's going to be a bit more of a premium, but I mean, £37.
It's a massive that is a big difference.
700. You know, I mean,
yeah, I think it's probably only a matter of time until those cards go up. Surely, they're PSA 9s, first edition base set.
I mean, a lot of collectors worry about the prices going up. I've you know, started to notice that even with the prices going up, there are certain cards that you just can't even find now.
Yeah,
you know,
that's only going to happen more and more. Like, same with like booster boxes and stuff. They are more collectors are coming in. It's going to be harder and harder to get anything. The only thing is, like, as you said just then about first edition, like PSA 6, for example, at what point do you buy unlimited 10 or buy unlimited 9 rather than a first edition 6? Not talking about I think Charizard or something, right? But like, if you think about Fossil, would you rather a 9 first edition Fossil or?
So I think in the nicest possible way, and I have been like this myself, so I won't lie, but I have noticed with that sort of thing, I find a lot of collectors want the first edition. It's nothing to do with the artwork. They want that first edition stamp. It's almost a bit of I don't want to say a bit of an ego thing, but it's a bit of, I won't settle for anything less than.
Why would I want unlimited?
I mean, I know people that have turned down PSA 10 unlimiteds because it's been an unlimited. And they've said, I'd rather own an 8 first edition than a 10 unlimited. Now, personally, I think I'd rather own the unlimited in a 10.
Yeah, for me, I really like a 10. So, like, depending on the set, like, for example, the Shinings that I got, they're all 10 unlimiteds because I couldn't afford I mean, it was that or a PSA 9 first edition, and there wasn't any around, so I ended up getting a 10 unlimited instead. But I know, like you said, there's some people who just wouldn't buy unlimited, like they just won't.
Yeah.
It's not their thing.
Yeah.
They want the stamp. They want that. It's exclusive. It's first edition. It's not. I mean, even the name unlimited almost makes it not that desirable, right? Because it sounds like
it does.
It's unlimited. There's loads of them. But obviously, at some point there won't be anyway. But I wonder, really down the line, where cards are even harder to get, will people just because they could end up all getting bought out in collections? Will people will they not care if it's a first edition or unlimited? They just want the card. I don't know.
I mean, surely it gets to the point where you either resort to buying non-first editions of the cards you like, or just leaving the hobby. I mean, yes, you can save up, but when you can't find these cards, when some of these cards you can't find, what do? You either go to buying lower grades and unlimited, or you just don't buy them. I mean, it sucks. It really does.
You leave the hobby because you only buy first edition and you're sick of it. Or
and I think with a lot of collectors that I've spoken to, and I know a lot of them have just said, yes, I can buy the lower grades, but I think the amount of sort of stress coming from it all, they've just resorted to leaving instead and just saying, I can't set it up, or I'm putting by what I have for the future. But
will it get to that point? Do we actually think that?
I mean,
all these WotC cards, unlimited or first edition, there's going to be enough collectors that they disappear.
From the few people that I have spoken to, again, nobody knows the future, but a lot of people are saying that sort of 10, 20, 30 years down the line, some of these cards are going to be worth more than anyone can imagine, more than sports cards. Now, I don't collect sports cards. I wouldn't have a clue. And nobody can predict the future. But someone's talking to me the other day about my PSA 6 first edition basic Charizard, and someone was, I can't remember, I think it's around sort of 3,500, 4,000. I'm not sure. Correct me on that if I'm wrong. Yeah. But someone was saying, 20, 30 years time, what would you do if that was 20, 25k? And just thinking of that, bearing in mind last year it was about £1,500, and it does make you think, well, it could. I think someone said Pokemon was the number one grossing thing in the world.
Not franchise, can't remember the word.
But it does make you wonder. I mean, I'm starting to think that it possibly will get to that point where you either cannot buy what you want because you can't find it, or it is too expensive.
See, I think I've thought of that before. I thought of the fact that obviously I don't know sports either, so it's hard to comment exactly on the differences. But I know obviously, and that no one in the UK, really collects sports cards, right?
No,
obviously, you'll have the odd ones, but it's mainly America. And the difference here is Pokemon is worldwide. Yeah. How many countries do you buy and sell from?
Even the market here is so different. I mean, you're looking at paying almost twice as much for some of the cards here than you are. It's all of Europe. You can buy the same card, the same grade and the same, unlimited or first edition. You can buy the same card here for double the price.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's because we're a smaller market, or if down to the import fees. Because we get hit with pretty big customs here.
I think most of that does probably come from the import fees, and maybe I don't know, maybe we've got a lot of interest and not enough supply. Don't know. But 20, 30 years from now, I do think it's possible it could outperform sports cards, simply because it is worldwide. It's not just US, And I've heard
I
some
think-
comments back about
Mm.
that saying, "Oh yeah, but Pokemon's not cool, and sports cards are, they are cool because they're to do with sports or something." I can see both sides to it, if that makes sense. Like, I can see it equally having the possibility to be even bigger than sports, but I can also see that how it might not sometimes, like it has the chance of maybe not going past that. So I don't know. It is really hard to. I mean, you're trying to predict the future, aren't you? So
I think the thing with Pokemon there's just so many people. I mean, there are kids now, 5, 6,
Yeah.
walking around the street with Pokemon t-shirts on.
exactly.
Pokemon just seems to be a non-stop powerhouse that's going
There's still
one
cards.
direction and it's
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
And, I mean, even now there are investors buying modern boxes,
Yeah.
buying cases upon cases of them. I mean, there just seems to be no stopping Pokemon at the moment. But I think with the thought of prices in 20, 30 years, there seems to be a lot of sort of anxiety amongst collectors as well. A lot of people saying, I don't know what to do if prices hit this, even from the point of view of their own collections being worth that.
What, going up so much in value?
Yeah, I mean, even with me, a year ago, my PSA 6 first edition Charizard was £1,500. The thought of it in, I'm not saying it's possible, but the thought of it in 10, 20, 30 years' time being 20,000 sort of makes me quite nervous. Can you imagine owning a PSA 9 first edition or...
Yeah. Why does it make you nervous, though?
Just
because you wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of money, does it go into storage? Do I get it insured? How do I deliver it? I think there's a lot of pressure as well. I mean, there are people now that say their collections are worth 30, 40, 50,000 pounds. What about in 20 years' time, if that is 10 times what it is? I feel like there is a lot of...
I'm hoping so.
I mean, your Neo Genesis Unlimited box today, I saw someone selling... how much was it? I can't remember.
It was $13,000 US.
There you go.
Or best
that was
offer.
The one.
Or best
yep,
offer.
And I think you paid... I hope you don't mind me saying, but I think you paid...
I've got it written down. Hold on. You can take a guess and I'll tell you if you're right.
Okay. It was 5,000?
Oh, no. It was way less than that.
Seriously?
Yeah. Let me find it. That was in January. That was literally the end of December, start of Jan this year.
Right.
I think I remember, but I just want to get the exact value. Where's it gone? Yeah, I found it. It was £2,500.
Wow. Wow.
So
wow.
I mean, it depends how much his sells for, doesn't it?
But and going back to the sort of anxiety as well, there is a lot of people, we know a couple, won't mention their names, but a lot of people anxious about prices dropping or bursting, or what if one day nobody's interested in it because there's the generation behind us didn't grow up.
I think I don't personally worry about that issue because I just don't think that will ever happen.
No.
Well, obviously, at some point that will happen, but I don't even think it would be in my lifetime that I'd need to worry about that, if you know what I mean.
I look at it at that as there's two options. You either sell up now if you're worried.
If it's causing you too much worry.
And if I had to take the if there is a gamble involved and I had to take the gamble, I'd rather hold on and risk that than, there's going to be dips in Pokemon, there's going to be ups and downs, there's going to be retraces, but in the long run, prices are always going to be going up.
If you're thinking that now, like even if that managed to happen, which I don't think it would for an extremely, extremely long time, you don't have to worry about that for the next 10 years. No. Do you know what I mean?
No. And
it's going to be up so much more than it is now. Like, I could not see it coming down past
And
you
I
know,
think, this also goes back to another thing that we have been saying about, I think so many collectors nowadays spend so much time looking 10, 20, 30 years that they do forget to just collect and enjoy what they like now.
Yeah.
And
But that's the thing with prices going up and so much money being involved. It gets
with that comes the
analysed so
pressure
much more.
that we,
Yeah.
the pressure to keep your Instagram going and to almost keep
that is
people interested.
okay. That's a big problem.
As funny as it may sound,
No,
there are a lot of people that feel like they have to
buy something,
keep their audience interested all the time, and they're
even though it's not a business, they're not. Know. I know what you mean.
I know a lot of people that I know a couple of people actually that like modern, but they won't post modern on their page because they're worried that it's going to make their page almost look cheap. I don't know if that's the reason, but
it's just I mean, it depends on if they want their audience to be, boxy focused, then I guess that makes sense. But at what point do you have to say, I really, really need to stop buying stuff?
And I hit that point not too long ago, to be honest.
I was still bought stuff?
Oh yeah. I'm one of those people that I do.
You're still looking at base set, aren't you?
Yep. It's just so hard once you're so invested into the hobby. It's so hard to just say
switch. You can't switch.
Enough's enough.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many people that are worried about missing out on the next big thing, that people are just flooding money into things, and at some point you've got to just say no. You've just got to say, yes, I might miss out on this,
but you have to appreciate what you've got, right?
When you look at Pokemon as a whole, there are so many good investments. I mean, when you look at all the Shadowless, all the first editions, there are people that say no rarity, Japanese based.
There is so much you can collect.
There is so many good investments. You
can't get bored.
And I think with some collectors they want everything. They want everything that is going to go up in price and that would be a good investment. And I think a lot of people just need to, you need to be able to say, that's it, enough's enough. But it's hard. Like I say, I still keep spending, and I know I need to stop.
I know. Yeah, it is. When prices rise as quickly as they have, it's hard to, change what you're buying or what you're interested in.
Sometimes you've just got to buy a bit of modern, open it, and almost
that's
almost feed that addiction.
That's what I've been doing.
Just crack that Evo box and pretend it's a base box, and just
that's the next best thing, right? If you can't afford it,
it is. As a lot of people say, poor man's base, isn't it?
But it's still just as fun to open. I think I'd rather, if I had a choice, I'd probably rather open Evo, because I know I wouldn't be losing loads of money. You just can't really open booster boxes anymore, I guess. WotC booster boxes.
But there are, I have seen quite a few sort of WotC investors, some of the bigger ones as well, that have started sort of collecting more modern boxes for an investment.
It's just easier.
People, I mean, X and Y has been absolutely gobbled up by everybody at the minute. I mean, I'm seeing so many collectors now with X and Y boxes for an investment. I'm not saying that it's it's necessarily a good investment, because there is there is an awful lot of it out there. But I suppose in the long run, everything's an investment, right? I mean, if you pay retail for a box,
Darkness Ablaze,
even if you wait, even if you have to wait 2-3 years, I mean, you're going to make a profit on it, unless it's Steam Siege or Crimson Invasion.
Even so, they're not.
Even so, there is.
Look
profit.
At them now. There's not.
I see a lot of people saying, I can't believe I paid 120 for Steam Siege.
And they're paying it still.
And they're still paying it.
It will be really interesting to see what happens.
It's just I've also noticed there's a lot of collectors that are starting to collect PSA 10s of sort of
what modern
very specific species. Like, there are a lot of people that are collecting collecting Umbrians and Espeons in PSA 10 from X and Y that a couple of years ago never would have looked at that art and said, that's nice, but are now coming into it saying, I like this card.
Is that because it's cheaper? Is that because of prices? And they found something else to move to that's not as pricey.
Yeah,
I don't know. It could be.
It could be that, or it could be that people are seeing that X and Y starting to pick up a bit. So
yeah, exactly. They might see it as a good opportunity.
As bad as it sounds, I mean, things are more appealing when they're worth more, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, you see the prices of X and Y going up, that Umbrian all of a sudden becomes a bit more appealing.
It's almost like it's kind of like a snowball effect, isn't it? Where something gets a little price increase and then all of a sudden everyone wants it. Think of Burning Shadows. Burning Shadows. It went up to what, 250, 275 really quickly.
Yep, really quickly, yeah.
And now obviously it got reprinted.
Yeah, Ancient Origins, that's another set that I'm seeing a lot of people collecting the sort of mega evolutions of not mega, the primals of they're becoming quite popular
but
now,
that's
and
the
all of a
thing.
sudden I'm seeing a lot of people jumping on them.
There's so much to collect. You could spend forever, couldn't you? Like, I mean, they're still releasing new sets every few months. You could literally spend your whole life.
Yep, and I mean, every set now almost has a Charizard in it.
Yeah, exactly. Just makes it more expensive to collect.
Yeah, it's just mad. I mean, Pokemon clearly know where their money can be made at this point.
And why not, I guess.
But it works. I mean, it
gets everyone excited. And I think how much more people have been excited to open Darkness Ablaze compared to Sword and Shield Base and Rebel Clash.
Oh yeah. All my whole Instagram feed is Darkness Ablaze.
Of course it is.
Yeah, and I mean, from what I've seen, the pull rate seems to be pretty decent on that full art Charizard, but yet everybody's going insane for the card.
Yeah, it was like I saw something. Was it 1 in 250 or something? Something really, really weird, weirdly low for it. I guess it's not a rainbow, is it? So maybe that's why the pull rate is a bit better. I don't know, but yeah, a lot of people have got it. It's coming out a lot, isn't it?
It's interesting to see some of the prices as well, because I mean, some of the
I haven't looked.
Rainbow Charizards in 10s are more than a lot of the WotC Charizards. Being a modern card, I mean that can be down to how hard they are to get, and the print run being terrible on some of them. So getting that 10, but it's just and
I guess like Evo and Burning Shadows.
Yes, well, I mean Evo. I think the pop for the Evo Charizard
super low
in a 10,
150, I think,
because the print was just
there was like I believe it's like 150 PSA 10, and then like 4,000 PSA.
I mean, I opened a couple of the mini tins today. It was the Galar ones, and there was a couple of Evo packs in there.
Yeah,
and just I got a half art Charizard EX, and it was
nice.
It was, the corner was bent. The back had edge wear. And so getting
that's
that
unlucky. Well, we have been talking for 50 minutes on record, so let's just stop the recording before it gets